Welcome, horror lovers. I'm Pete, and today we're going to embark on a journey through some of the darkness. If you're new here, subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss any terrifying stories. It was a moonless night, as dark as the depths of the forest. On the dirt road cutting through the small town of São Luís do Norte, in the interior of Goiás, most of the locals knew that something strange happened on that stretch at night. Stories of a mysterious vehicle, which appeared like a shadow, terrified those who dared to drive through that area after 10 p.m. This was the tale of the Black Hilux, a pickup truck seemingly made of darkness and mystery. The story began about 15 years ago when a man named Antonio Pereira, a local truck driver, first reported an eerie encounter involving a truck chasing him down the road. Antonio, known for his calm demeanor and logical approach, had never been one to indulge in superstitions. However, on that particular night, while driving alone down a remote road, he noticed a faint light in the distance. At first, he thought it was another vehicle approaching. "I was driving from São Luís to Goiânia, a route I had taken hundreds of times, but something felt off that night," Antonio recounted years later. "When I saw the light, I thought it was someone in trouble. But as I got closer, I realized it wasn't just any vehicle. It was a black pickup truck, its headlights glowing like the eyes of a beast. I stepped on the gas to pass it, but it started matching my speed. It was as if it was waiting for me." Antonio described that the truck seemed to hover over the road, producing no sound from its engine. When he decided to speed up to escape, the Black Hilux vanished, as if it had melted into the darkness. It disappeared right at the curve. I almost lost control, staring back in fear, but there was nothing. The silence on that road was unlike anything I've ever felt. The legend began to take shape, as more and more people started reporting similar experiences. Over the months, others began to talk about the mysterious black truck that followed them, or more commonly, appeared suddenly when they were alone. The descriptions of the Hilux were always the same. A matte black truck, no license plates, with headlights so bright they seemed almost unnatural, and an engine that produced no sound. Its presence was always accompanied by a sense of dread, a chilling feeling, as if something was watching from within the vehicle. The Black Hilux wasn't confined to isolated roads. Many began to say they saw it even on more populated streets, near the town's outskirts or at bus stops along the road. But it was always visible only to those who were immersed in the solitude of night, when the streets were deserted and the houses silent. The testimony. One of the most terrifying stories came from Maria da Conceição, an elderly woman who lived near the road. She had resided for years in a small house by the side of the road, with a clear view of the stretch where the Black Hilux often appeared. Over the months, she began noticing strange occurrences at night. Something seemed to be lurking near her house. On several occasions, she looked out her window and saw the shadow of the truck parked in the distance, always unmoving, but always there. It was a strange feeling. The truck would just sit there, like it was watching me. I couldn't see anyone inside, but it felt as though someone was staring out at me from that vehicle. The headlights shone like they were calling me. One night, Maria had a closer encounter. After hearing the sound of an engine in the distance, she went to her porch and saw the Black Hilux parked in front of her house. The feeling was pure terror. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. And then, something happened. The truck started moving toward my house, slowly, as if it were testing me, watching how I would react. Maria tried to run, but before she could do anything, the truck vanished, leaving behind only silence and darkness. No one knew for sure the origin of the Black Hilux, but many of the older locals began connecting the phenomenon to a tragedy from years earlier. The tale, some said, dated back to a fatal accident in the 1980s on one of the winding stretches of the road. Back then, a man named Enrique Ferreira, a well-known businessman in the region, had purchased a new truck, a Black Hilux. Enrique, known for his reckless driving, often sped down to Goiânia at high speeds. On one fateful day, he lost control of the vehicle on a treacherous curve. The truck flipped, and Enrique was thrown out, crashing violently into a tree. The impact was fatal. However, the truck was found undamaged, almost pristine. No one knew what happened to the vehicle after the accident, but the legend claimed that the Black Hilux never reappeared. The disappearance of the truck, many believed, was linked to the restless spirit of Enrique, who, tragically killed too soon, had taken possession of the vehicle. His obsession with speed and the thrill of driving might have caused him to become an entity tied to the black Hilux, roaming the roads at night, terrorizing those who crossed his path. Witnesses and mysteries. Many drivers tried to capture images of the black Hilux, but none succeeded. Cameras, both from smartphones and security systems, always malfunctioned at the most crucial moments, as if an invisible force was preventing any recordings or evidence of the phenomenon. In 2013, a local journalist, Lucas Almeida, decided to investigate the legend on his own. For weeks, he spent nights on the road, trying to document any sightings. He wrote on his blog, "I saw the truck. It was real, but the feeling was unlike anything I can explain, like something beyond the physical, beyond what I could comprehend. I couldn't think clearly anymore. When I looked at the headlights, something overwhelmed me, a sense of despair, as if my life was in danger." After that encounter, Lucas mysteriously disappeared. His last post was a video in which he filmed the road, but the footage was choppy, only showing a few seconds of shaky images before the camera failed entire. The black Hilux remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the region. Older residents speak about it with caution, while the younger ones, driven by curiosity, often venture out to uncover the truth. Those who have had the terrifying experience of being followed, like Antonio and Maria, refuse to talk about it, fearful that the shadow will return. The legend of the black Hilux lives on as a tale of horror and mystery, an unknown force on the road that still strikes fear into the hearts of locals. Some say it is the spirit of Enrique Ferreira, still driving his truck, searching for company, or perhaps seeking revenge for his untimely death. Others believe the black Hilux is a manifestation from beyond, a malevolent entity that took the form of a vehicle, tormenting those who venture too close. The black Hilux continues to haunt the roads at night, its story remaining one of the most chilling, unresolved legends of the area. Who knows? Maybe one day, the true origin of this mysterious tale will be revealed. Until then, the fear persists, and the legend lives on, like the truck itself, black, silent, and waiting for the next encounter. The towering mountains, shadowy valleys, and dense forests of Norway are home to many ancient stories and legends. Among them, one of the most persistent and terrifying is that of the troll, a mythical creature that lurks in the shadows of the Nordic lands. Often depicted as grotesque, with skin like stone and eyes that glow like embers, trolls hold a unique place in the Norwegian imagination. While many of the tales about trolls have been passed down orally over the centuries, it is possible to trace their origins and the various versions of this feared figure through superstitions, mountain folk tales, and even along the edges of the fjords. The following is a detailed and original version of the legend of the troll from Norway, exploring its origins, historical accounts, and the enduring belief in its existence, even in modern times. Trolls are mythical beings from Nordic tradition, a concept that can be traced back to the Viking Age, when the ancient pagan beliefs still dominated the region. At that time, people believed the world was inhabited by a vast range of supernatural creatures, such as giants, elves, and trolls, each with their own lands and magical powers. In their original form, trolls were considered a type of ancient giant, born of primordial gods or even demons who had been banished to live in caves and mountains. The name troll derives from the Old Norse word troll, meaning supernatural being or monster, but over time it came to be associated with beings that were monstrous in appearance and wild in nature. In the ancient sagas, trolls were described as beings of immense physical strength, with skin resembling stone or tree bark, and teeth as sharp as blades. The concept of the troll in the Nordic lands began to evolve over the centuries, particularly during the medieval period when Christianity began to take root in the region. Trolls, once simply mysterious and natural creatures, came to be portrayed as malevolent beings, in contrast to the angels and saints of Christianity. The most popular tales suggest that trolls had an antagonistic relationship with humans, often attempting to harm them, either through trickery or direct attack. The troll of Norway has a distinct appearance, which can vary slightly depending on the region. In many stories, trolls are described as large and strong, with skin like stone, glowing yellow or red eyes, and long, disheveled hair. They possess massive muscles, but at the same time are clumsy and slow in their movements. They are often depicted as bestial creatures, with grotesque faces, enormous hands, and feet so large that they leave deep tracks in the ground. Another common trait of the troll legends is their vulnerability to sunlight. Many accounts suggest that trolls, being creatures of the night, can only survive in dark places, such as caves or the depths of forests. According to some versions of the legend, the rising sun has the power to turn them to stone or freeze them in their monstrous form. This is because, in the tradition, trolls cannot withstand the intense light of day, which explains why they prefer to emerge only at dusk or during the darkest hours of the night. These creatures are also described as voracious hunters, but surprisingly cowardly. Despite their strength and intimidating appearance, trolls usually avoid humans whenever possible, and many stories suggest that they are highly sensitive to human presence, fleeing whenever they sense they are being watched. Additionally, many tales describe trolls living in isolation, deep in caves, mountains, or forests, far from other living beings. Accounts and witnesses. The first major documentation of trolls and other mythical creatures in Norway can be found in medieval Norse texts, such as the Icelandic sagas. These accounts were transcribed between the 9th and 13th centuries, a time when Viking culture was still deeply entrenched in the region. However, even after the people of Scandinavia converted to Christianity, trolls continued to be a part of folklore, taking on new forms and adapting to Christian values. One of the most famous stories of a troll sighting comes from the Jotunheimen Mountains, a vast range in central Norway. According to the tale, a group of hunters were trekking up the mountain in search of deer when they spotted a large figure about 3 meters tall moving between the rocks. The troll was hunched over, with its hands splayed, staring intently at them. When one of the hunters lit a torch, the creature let out an ear-piercing scream and fled into the shadows of the forest. Although the hunters never found the troll afterward, they swore the creature had glowing eyes, and its skin appeared to have the texture and color of stone. Another more recent account, dated to 1870, came from the Telemark region, where a local farmer told of a night when he heard strange sounds coming from the forest. According to the story, he followed the noises to a clearing where he saw a monstrous figure, covered in moss and leaves, peeking from behind the trees. The farmer claimed the troll appeared to be waiting for something, perhaps prey or even another troll. When the farmer tried to approach, the creature emitted a deep, threatening sound, and he quickly backed away, but swore he would never return to that area. These accounts are just 2 examples of the many that have emerged over the centuries, blending testimonies from local inhabitants and stories passed on by travelers who ventured into the more remote parts of Norway. Superstitions and beliefs. Over the centuries, the tales of trolls have accumulated a variety of superstitions that continue to influence the beliefs of people today. Many Norwegians still believe that certain places in the mountains and forests are inhabited by trolls, and there are various traditions aimed at warding off these creatures. For example, one popular belief is that trolls are afraid of iron and certain plants, like nettles, which are thought to repel or even kill them. Another tradition says that if you become lost in the woods or mountains at night, you should sing or speak aloud, for it is believed that trolls fear human voices and will flee upon hearing them. In some regions, there is also the belief that if you encounter a troll, you should offer it a gift, such as food or objects, to keep it from attacking you. One particularly interesting superstition is that if you leave a candle burning outside your house at night, the glow of the light might attract trolls to your doorstep. This practice is avoided by many, especially in remote areas where the legends are still very much alive. Conclusion. The legend of the Troll of Norway, with its origins in ancient Norse pagan beliefs, continues to be an important part of Norwegian culture and identity. While many consider trolls to be purely mythical, it is undeniable that stories about these creatures remain embedded in the oral traditions, popular beliefs, and even superstitions of Norway. Whether as a symbol of primitive strength or as a menacing creature lurking in the dark, the troll remains a figure that blends the mystical with the real, challenging the understanding and reason of newer generations, while keeping alive the echoes of a time when the world was thought to be inhabited by unknown and magical beings. Leave your opinion in the comments. Thank you for watching.